Well, happy Thursday, everyone. This is JoJo Bennington. This is the Empowering Healthy Women 30-minute weekly check-in where we get together and just talk about girl stuff and things that are going on and things that come up and mindset to physical to all kinds of interesting things. So I am here I'm in Minnesota with Liddy. So Liddy's with me, and several of the girls that are always on with us are also here. So my business partner is in the other room presenting to an entire room of people, and I am in the back in this cool little meeting room that they happen to have just for me to do this call tonight. So glad that you're here, and hope everyone's had a great week and is staying warm. It was 85 in Vegas today, and today here in Minnesota it's like 25. So a little bit of a difference from where I flew out of yesterday. But, so I had something interesting happen, and so I just want to bring it up because I just think it's an interesting conversation. Right around my birthday at the end of January, my tooth started to hurt. And then it got worse, and then it got worse. And so I called the doctor, I said, my tooth hurts. And so we talked a little bit about what could be going on. And so he said, I want you to take this antibiotic, which I don't normally do. I don't want to do. But when we mess with teeth, I'm always worried, right? Because you never know. Bacteria from your teeth can do bad stuff, right? So I took the antibiotic, went in to see him, and he told me that I have a root fracture in one of my back molars. So I had a root canal in that tooth, like, I don't know, 20 years ago. And it now below the gum line through the tooth, it's cracked. So he said, you're going to lose this tooth. There's no two ways about it. You can't save it. So I'm like, bull, I'm going to save my tooth. I'm not going to lose it. So I'm fighting for this tooth, right? So it starts to feel better. I sort of forget that this issue is going on. And the night before we left to come here, it woke up and it started yelling at me. And all night long it yelled at me, and all morning long, and it got worse and worse and worse. And then on the plane, it eased down a little bit, but it has been a constant pain since I got here. So we happen to have this holistic dentist on the team that we work with. And so we called him and we said, hey, Dr. Laughlin, here's what's going on. This is what's happening with my tooth. And I've been fighting to save this tooth. Tell me I don't have to lose it. And this is what he said to me, which I find is very interesting. He said that dentistry, so medical dentistry, is the only medical profession that talks you into or insists on you keeping a dead body part in your body. And I went, what do you mean by that? And he said, you have a root canal, which means that they've pulled the root out of that tooth. It is now essentially a dead body part. He said, if that was an organ or anything, they would remove that you don't leave dead body parts in your body. It's not good for you. So first of all, I guess you shouldn't ever have the root canal. There's an alternative now, which I'm just learning about. But so I thought that was so interesting. He said, you're even worse because now you have a dead body part that's infected. And I was like, that is the grossest thing I've ever heard when you think of it like that, because I never thought of it like that. So anyway, I have an appointment on Tuesday to get rid of this dead body part out of my mouth. So I never thought about it like that. But to not, especially with dental health, I kind of said I can save this tooth and I'm going to suffer through it till I can save the tooth, because that's what I thought I was doing. But what I was doing was probably making it worse by not having it out. So some of the weird things I've been experiencing lately, like some extra headaches, which I don't normally have. And so he said are potentially because of this tooth. So just thought that was interesting, and I would share it just because I thought that was such an interesting statement, that dentistry is the only medical profession that asks us to keep a dead body part in our body. So weird, right? It was kind of interesting to me. So today, we were having a little bit of a training with some of the team here, and we started to talk about how we all see things differently, and how no matter what I say, you hear it through your filter. So I say it one way, you filter it another way. Cassandra filters it another way. Anyone else that's sitting over here listening to me filters it another way. So even though I hear what I'm saying and I know what I'm saying and you know what I'm saying, it is completely different experience for every single person that's listening. So I thought this was kind of interesting because I think if this was part of marriage training before you got married and you understood that everybody hears things through their own filter. So no matter how we say it, we never know how they're taking it. Because you may mean it one way and then you go, but how could you take it that way? Because that is totally not what I said. I don't know how many times I've had that conversation with Vinny. That is not what I said. Or that is not what you said. And he's like, that's exactly what I said. Because he said it one way and it went through the JoJo filter into my ears and I heard it completely a different way. Or interpreted it a different way or whatever it is. So when we were thinking about it, we were like, how could you ever really take anything personally? Because it's always filtered. Like everything we do is filtered through someone else's filter or through our own. So if somebody feels one way about you or thinks one way about you, that how that's totally their interpretation of what they think you are. And so I going back to the thing that Carrie said. So Carrie MacArthur says, I am not who I think I am. I am not who you think I am. I am who I think you think I am. Does that make sense? So I am who I think you think I am. So if you think about that, sometimes when we live by that rule, so you're constantly like at this candle in the wind blowing around based on whoever you're with or what you think they think of you or what you think they expect of you. Or so instead of standing in our own power and just being who we are, we live our life by someone else's filter. It's kind of an interesting thought as we're, so we had this room of 20 people today and everyone was like, wow, like everyone in the room is experiencing something completely different. They did this amazing training and we had this long talk and everyone got something totally different, filtered it, heard it, listened to everybody had something completely different. I thought it was so interesting and how often we adjust ourselves or change ourselves based on what we think someone else thinks or expects and through their filter. So the challenge is just for me to say, let's stop living by someone else's filter and just stand on our own 2 feet and live by our own power instead of someone else's. Because you're never ever going to be able to satisfy everybody if everybody's always filtered through something else. You never know how somebody's going to take you or understand you, or it's almost like maddening to try and think about trying to make everybody like you or so happy or, right? Doesn't that feel weird? So I don't know. What are your thoughts? What do you think? I have 2 of you, so you guys got to play along with me.
I think it's hard to change what other people think of you, but you have to think of how you think of yourself rather than what they think of you.
Right.
And work more towards how you want to be.
And their filter is their filter.
It always will be, yes.
Right. And so I know what I want to say. I know how I feel. I know what I want to express. I know all of that about me, but I have no idea about that about you. Anything I do about you is all assumption.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you tell me, it's still through my own filter. So you're telling me and it's still going through my filter for me to understand it. So Isn't that crazy? Like we never really can understand what's ever going on in someone else's head fully, ever.
Right.
So interesting. So that's what I had for tonight. I thought we were going to chat about it, and there would be a bunch of us here, but it's just a few. And it's funny. I'm like, well, 3 of you guys are sitting in the other room that are always on call tonight, so that's okay. I in thinking about how much we, and I say I used to worry about, making everybody happy, and I would get so upset if somebody misunderstood something I did or I mean, how can you ever, now I just see it so silly, because like, how can you ever stop it?
Right.
I can be as clear as I want to be, but how can I ever stop somebody's misunderstanding? You can't, right? You can't. You can maybe try to clear it up later but then you always have to go back and go, well, that's not what I meant, or that's not what I said. It's always then you're kind of in defensive mode. I don't know, it seems exhausting. I'll just be myself and not worry about it. We're out to do good. We want everybody to be happy. I want the same great things for everyone else I want for myself.
Exactly.
I think that's a noble goal. It's crazy, right? Why do we do stuff like that? I don't know. Oh, we were going to have, Laura was going to come on and teach us her version of the color code, because there's, like, we've all learned like a certain one. And then I just recently learned a different one called the bank code, which is something different, which we will also teach at some point. But Laura was going to come on and teach us her version, which is a little bit different than anything I've heard before. And so she wasn't able to do that. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll schedule that out and make sure that we get her here. And other than that, any thoughts? I don't know, Cassandra, if you can unmute and join in on the conversation. If not, that's okay. I know she's out there. She might be driving too.
Yeah.
So if you're driving, don't stop driving.
Pay attention to what you're doing.
Pay attention to this area. And
I was going to make a comment on your tooth.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend who went to an urgent care because she had a really bad toothache, and she passed away of a heart attack. She had a heart attack while she was there having her tooth looked at. I guess
Because of her tooth?
I guess jaw pain can be a precursor for women having a heart attack. She must not have known that.
She just thought she had a toothache.
Yep.
Wow.
They couldn't bring her back.
That's interesting.
Yeah, a couple
We
years
do,
younger than me.
Yeah, women do have way different symptoms than men do, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she was only 53.
Wow.
No, I don't think that she had a history of heart problems, because she would have kind of known a little better.
Wow.
So you just
well, there's an indication of not to ignore something, right?
Yes.
Just doing stuff like that.
Yes.
That's interesting. Yeah, I had a friend that I used to do blackjack with a million years ago. She had a pain that was going up like her shoulder blade into her neck. It was this weird radiating pain. And she was feeling like it. She wasn't feel good. And I said, I think that's a symptom potentially of a heart attack. And she waited like all night long, suffered through this whole, she finally went to the, and she was having a heart attack. But
wow.
I'm like, you got lucky that you like stayed at work all that time. And she worked like that almost all night.
Yeah,
Crazy what we do to ourselves.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, so don't fight for the tooth.
Nope.
It's kind of crazy. Do you think you don't want to give it up, right? You want to keep what's natural in your mouth. But I guess at this point, once they do a root canal on it, it's not even natural anymore. It's not even, it's just a dead thing in my mouth. So I know. Now it's kind of freaking me out. I'm like, can't we just take it out now? Just get the string and the doorknob, just yank it out of there.
Ugh,
Um,
it's not quite that easy, unfortunately.
yeah. So, luckily the dentist said he can do it. So Tuesday it'll be taken care of. And
Well, I hope you.
hopefully all that craziness that's going on is going to stop, because because I had no answer. I'm like, why? What is all this weird stuff all of a sudden? And so that could potentially be it.
Yep.
Weird, stupid tooth. So, but that's what we have for tonight. So I guess we'll end early and send everybody kisses and thanks for being on. And I'll leave us with the thought of, don't have a dead potty part in your mouth for 2 months when you don't need to, and stop taking things personal, because everything's done through everyone else's filter anyway.
Exactly. And say hello to all those other people and give them hugs for me.
And I will do that.
For you.
Thank you.
And
I'll see you soon.
better.
Oh, I'm good. Thank you so much. Have fun. Stay warm. I'll try to.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.